For those of you who want to check out videos that I did on the subject of suicide, the first one I did was tragic story of suicide caused by bullying. I did this about 1 year ago, but I only got 11 views from it. Tragic story of suicide caused by bullying. It's a very good video. The other one was committing suicide does not send you to hell. And I explain how stupid it is for someone to even think that. There's a bunch of religious bullshit. So I strongly urge you people to watch it. Just look under Dare to Speak on suicide and you'll find these two videos. Hello everyone. Once again, this is Dare to Speak. I've talked about suicide before on 2 different videos. And of course, one story was the result of one kid that took his own life because he was bullied. And the other one was about the religious point of view that's been ingrained in people's minds. That if you commit suicide, your soul will go to hell because it's a sin against God and against Jesus and all sorts of stupid things that they would say about it. And just to let you know, it's not true. It's just Christian propaganda or religious propaganda. Anyways, the thought of suicide caused by depression is an area that I actually would pretty much know about. And it's something that may seem a little far-fetched and pretty much disturbing. But in my opinion, based on my own research of what I know, or of what I came to the conclusion of, suicidal thoughts, and even going as far as to attempt it, whether that person failed or if they succeeded, is really something that actually might seem a little disturbing. Now, suicidal tendencies that is fueled by depression, and I mean extreme depression, manic depression, call it what you will, is really the result of a phenomenon that is bent on destroying the psychological and emotional of human beings. And it is done in many different ways. There is a malevolent energy that goes around and actually targets certain people. And there is such a high frequency of this energy that actually poisons the human mind and the emotional of that person. And as disturbing as it sounds, if I were to say what it's really caused by, most people will not even probably get it or even accept it if they did understand. And that's why it's very difficult to explain. You have to look at it from a paranormal point of view, that when someone is very suicidal, caused by depression, a lot of them have very terrible backgrounds of abuse of all kinds. Many were victims of some sort of abuse, physical abuse, verbal, and even sexual abuse in some cases. But there's also something else. And it is my opinion, and it's up to you if you want to believe it, that a lot of the cases of depression that leads to suicidal tendencies and even attempts is really the result of malevolent forces that I said before is bent on destroying humanity for the reason of personal gain of negative energy. The more negative energy that they take from these people, these victims, the more powerful they become. And I really have to tell you, I don't believe in demons. I said this before, I don't believe in Satan or anything like that. Just as well as I don't believe in God, heaven and hell, and things like that. So, if you pretty much understand what I'm trying to say, and it's really hard for me to even say this, but sinister beings from other planets, if you get my meaning, are really the reason why. And most people are not even going to remember any kind of disturbing contact. No memory of it at all. None whatsoever. But they are working in ways that we cannot even imagine. I have seen something like this before, and I know from my own personal experience. And I know it sounds far-fetched, but I know this to be very true. There is something out there that attacks us psychologically and emotionally. And it's very disturbing for me to even talk about it. It's a powerful frequency that, like I said before, is bent on destroying humanity. I know it's very difficult to even believe, but one very important thing that I would like to point out is when someone is very depressed and they have thoughts of suicidal tendencies, they're very suicidal and they want to attempt it, and whether they do it and succeed or if they fail and end up in the hospital, one thing you really need to bear in mind is you should not get angry at them. Yes, it's tragic, and it does leave a very bad emotional scar towards the loved ones. But you have to stop and think that as a person is doing this, they're not in their right senses. At that very moment, they cannot comprehend right and wrong. It is very overwhelming. And when it happens at that very moment, sense and reason is not there. It's just simply not there. That's what people need to understand. I should know for sure because I had someone that I know that's very close to me that actually relates to a problem like this and had suicidal thoughts and even went as far as to commit suicide. That person failed when he tried to drive his car and smash it into a light post in which he went through the windshield. He survived it, and of course he was drunk because he didn't have the courage to do it sober. But no one should not get angry at someone like that. You don't know the hell that they're actually going through and how when it does happen to that extreme, right and wrong is just non-existent at that very moment. They just cannot comprehend it. And it's not their fault. It's not anybody's fault. Well, unless it depends on the background. But you should really not go as far as to get angry. They are going through something that is very difficult for most people to understand. But believe me, at the very moment of depression and suicidal thoughts, they have no control. Something is taking them over. And it's something that you really have to understand. So again, you should not get angry at these people. They're not trying to hurt you or anything like that. They are going through something. You would have to basically experience experience this whole thing of what they're going through in order for you to understand. And that's basically it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Questions or comments, you know what to do. And this is Dare to Speak. And to all of you, take care.